In today's video, we are going to be diving into the energy update that is sort of shaping our world for the new moon in Scorpio that's coming up on October 27th. So if you wanted to get like a deeper inside look of really what you can expect on an energetic level, then just stay tuned. But in the meanwhile, if you are brand new here and we've never met, well, hello. I'm so glad that you are here and connecting with me and taking the time to share your time and your space with me. Consider subscribing to the channel if you are brand new. We usually chat about 2 to 3 times a week where we dive right into spiritual practices. We talk about mental health and how you can really live a more consciously, more empowered life through different holistic practices. So if that sounds good, you're absolutely going to love it here. Okay, without further ado, why don't we just dive right into exactly what's coming up for this October for the new moon in Scorpio. So the new moon is coming up once again, which also means, well, if you are brand new to lunar cycles and following the moon, what you need to know is here are the basics. The moon goes through 8 different phases each month, basically, in a 4-week period. And the more significant ones that most people notate is the full moon and the new moon. New moon generally means when the moon there's zero light. So everything is in darkness, everything is in shadows, and it really represents new beginnings. It's sort of our way to reawaken, be reborn, really just leave behind elements of our personality and elements of ourselves in the past that really doesn't serve us, and really just it represents a fresh new beginning ultimately. Now we are entering into Scorpio, and Scorpio is all about transformation. Now transformation might actually trigger some of you. Some of you might completely embrace it if you are the person who really enjoys change, likes to switch things up, doesn't really like to stagnate for too long. Then transformation, it represents something very positive. But for the most of us, it represents changes, and changes can be sometimes scary depending on what area of your life we're really trying to examine here. But Scorpio definitely represents transformation. And it can also create some erratic behavior where you might be feeling not so easy flowing, and you're going with the flow, and you're very moldable, but you might be feeling like energetically you're on edge and you're feeling very anxious, and it's sort of like on standby of you're anticipating like an attack, or you're anticipating someone or something really pushing you over the edge. And what you need to know is that basically with this energy, you may have some erratic behavior, so just be mindful of that. And also, this is also a time and an invitation for us to practice some serious self-acceptance, for us to really just go deeper into what emotions are coming up. It really asks us to just become a little bit more self-aware, which is sort of how I like to think of each moon cycle. It's just an opportunity for us to really look at the energies that are coming at us, and then how does that really relate, and how does that explain some of the events or some of the circumstances around us at this given moment, and what can you do with that insight? All this is just information that you can either use for your advantage and practice a little bit more self-care, practice a little bit more self-love and self-acceptance, or maybe this would be your time to really just embrace this change and go full throttle. What you might want to be really careful with when it comes to this energy is to not dip into the side of you, that shadow side, that part of you that can really be controlling, can be really aggressive, hostile. This energy might push you to the edge where you really feel like you're trying to gain so much control. And the only way that you know how to do that is by trying to control everyone and all of the circumstances around you, by gripping onto that control. And also by just leading with your ego. If you're finding that you're really dipping into not really looking at things from like a bird's eye view, so to say, where you're really looking at the big picture, but you might get really stuck with the nitty-gritty of the daily situations, and that can feel really frustrating because it makes you feel really powerless and extremely aggravating, to be honest. And so you might want to be mindful of that this energy might be coming up for you if you are easily triggered. So if you know that, I just think that it's one of those things where if you kind of know what's going to be coming up energetically around you, then you also know how to gain more control of it. And maybe perhaps this might be the time where you find yourself taking more time to be in solitude, taking more time to reflect, journal. I mean, it is the end of the month, so you will likely be using your journal a lot more if that's within your practice. But really go into those practices that really honors self-love, self-care, self-acceptance. Give yourself grace. This is not the time where you need to beat yourself down to the ground for being in a circumstance that you are in, but really like try to take some time and focus on progress, on the progress that you have made, especially if you are going through a large form of transformation, and maybe you might be in the thick of it and you might feel like things are just not progressing fast enough, or they're just not, or people are not supporting you the way that you want to. Maybe this would be the time for you to really draw within. Use the new moon energy to reflect on what does support really look like for you. How would it really feel, and tune into that emotion. Get to the point where you can viscerally feel, what does that support feel like? What does being heard, being truly seen, what does that really feel like? How would that really look like in your life right now? And when you tune in, it becomes a little bit easier for you to manage your own expectations, because I find that when I'm tuning into what my ego mind is telling me, that's running on a loop of these high, super unrealistic expectations, then I feel like I'm really letting a part of me take control that really has no place to be controlling anything. So the more you can tune into your own intuition, this would be the time for you to be in solitude. This would be the time for you to practice self-care. This would be the time maybe to get body work done, so get a massage. Maybe this would be the time for you to, connect with your crystals, create some intentions, really connect to what it is that this transformative energy really giving you the opportunity to do. And I think that if you do that, then you can tap into a part of this energy that can go more with the flow of things, be a little bit more relaxed around energies around you, and not try to micromanage and micro control every area of your life, but focus on only the areas of your life that actually make a true difference. Because if you're already on edge, it can feel like you have no control, which is not really true. You do have control, but sometimes we're not very clear of where we seek control the most, or what control really looks like. And even that word control is kind of funny, because we're never really in control. We make choices that will yield a certain result, but that's pretty much it. Everything else, there's a large element of our lives that are completely out of our personal control, and it can kind of go either way. So it's more about being resilient and being very graceful with yourself, and not spending most of your energy on beating yourself up on just areas of your life that really you don't have. Not only do you not have control over it, but really it's not up to you. You know what I mean? So I would just invite you to really view change from a different angle and see how that feels, and really tune into what the support feel like to you. How would your day-to-day be a little bit gentler, a little bit more graceful? How would that really look like for you if you applied these principles? Because we can give you all the energy updates that we can, but at the end of the day, your days are going to be shaped by the choices that you make, and you can consciously choose them, no matter what you might be feeling like about the new moon or about spiritual practices. ultimately what it comes down to, it's all about self-mastery, and it's all about really just gaining that level of control over your life where you feel deeply connected, and you're creating and shaping your days and your weeks and your life with the things that actually light you up, that actually bring you joy, that fill your soul, that bring you fulfillment and contentment. So this is all I wanted to share with you guys. I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you are doing anything special for this new moon as we enter into Scorpio. I would be so curious to find out if you are creating a ritual. How do you spend your time connecting with the new moon? Do you meditate? Do you have a special practice? I would love to hear from you. For me personally, I think that I'm going to do some contemplation, and even the days leading up to the new moon, I really wanted to take some time to really have a better understanding of what my own soul and my own intellect cannot really tell me, and what does true fulfillment really look like, and how we can start shaping that on a day-to-day basis. What are some of the little things that I can include into my day-to-day where I don't feel like I'm being shifted and thrown around by the wind of change, which is what my life has been feeling like in the last month and a half. So I would love to hear from you. If you enjoy videos just like this one, you already know what to do. You can give me a thumbs up, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way, you actually get notified every time I release a new video. And in the meanwhile, connect to the moon, you guys. Keep those practices up. They're just so important. They allow you to connect on such a deeper level. And just remember that you're so much more powerful than you think. And I will see you again in my next video. Bye.